is not mobile phone abofra no be kuta ni say na problem no. It is a nyoma who do mobile phone is applications be also any site website be abofra no betimi akwa e be say no kakra and a problem. And I believe that if the conversations assume a certain understanding, then holistically you na betimi aba together and you can say ampa pempenswa ye do no. You mentioned some countries. I know in some of the advanced countries, look, mobile phone ikutawa, even we penny crampoa, sideboard abekwa, they may have to seek, site or access. Maybe we are one, are you 18 years? What do you do? Are you a male? Are you a female? What do you do? You maybe say there, site way now, you need to queue in all these informations or details before the site credentials will allow you access to go and do whatever thing that you are doing here. And I believe that is what we need here. BBC to control, to control our youth, to control, positive, negative. No, we need some of these restrictions to curtail their movement, especially when they are serving the internet.
Mama kwaba eba ye Kasa Fie fidie esubium. Ye frame me Harriet man penny akwa. Ubetimi so aframe lady penny for short. Na enen so ye de enkomo de enkomo a eye shronko enkomo a eye dada mo asetena nkomo ede ebrewo enen so ene mini nana dogbe aje akonwa etena se ni wa che nsembi. Ene for a couple of days now there have been an issue of mobile phone usage among youngsters. Yetra and kwala already 17 years and below. Omonomote using mobile phones nepa obe who school akwala already 15 years, 12 years, 13 years. Okita mobile phone a penny bimpono eni sa phone ono but ono no sa akwada no ekita phone ubi sa osimide research. Ukwa research so any researcher one for his or her future, but then the ensen fata ena omodehwe ene ye no bedin komo afa aso e was a Ghana Education Service banning the usage of phones among these teenagers, that is enkwala maybe 17 years below. And I also say if there are some restrictions I bet me are restricting or more from using mobile phones ye no bedin komo ene inti ene min nana ye bedi san komo nana me mawakwa aba eba ye Kasa Fie
Major also I'm what to say
nyame adom nyame de yankwa ache it's nana yenhwe banning on mobile phones in our schools or even in our homes. No, how will it go?
All right, since my Kasa Fie nyina akwaba na ebi mo so no yenka o mo se wo mo dada some behwe dwumadie na ebi mo so ma contribute to na afen so no ma subscribe to the page ebebo apa ma na wo bia ye share yetimi anya solid content ebetimi inform me, educating, of course, as also entertaining or more in that regard. Now, the usage of mobile phones and the banning of the mobile phones, enye adia yibetimi akase eye or how an akwensidie bebre, whether ye mane anase ye makwan ma emofra, according to Child Rights International, one more below 18 years, one more nyusu ana yembani ana say yenyusu no enye issue. The issue is the approach pain and also between parents, teachers, caregivers, guardians, and also mutimi adapt so that holistically say mofra below 17 years ombe yusu mobile phone and I say more mu use no we beka say saying na emfa as a saying na etie. I believe that we often say we are seeing globally the world have become a global village in the sense that in the 60s to the 70s to the 80s to the 90s na we are see antecessor the you no. So there have been generational issues, generational gap Omo ye wo omo in the 90s. Enye bi na ye hu ewo 2026 or even 2025 or 2024. Enti yenya generations upon generations and generations upon generations. In this generation, mofra ye wo omo ne no. Omo so era any dispensation any IT and ababishia. So let's acknowledge that. Enya de bone, like I mentioned, it is the approach being counseling being direction being and I was say these devices on the internet, these tools, approach being SM kwalano or mutimi be adaptia, it be very beneficial to them. That should be the conversation. You bet me a total ban, but not still the moral fiber of the youth between another below the ages of 17. Now almost say ewo kwang so. You bet me so maintaining the usage of the mobile phones, even at the SS level. Still, through some approach, en konko frequency dia na ema mofrana en call sayemo and also son ewo. So if Child Rights International, a civil society organization, will move this conversation, now calling on government to ensure that there should be some proper restrictions when it comes to the usage of mobile phones. Then personally, I would say it is a national conversation and between schools, between parents, between guardians, and even the children themselves. I will say it immediately. There is a quite bang and a day mobile phones, smartphone usage. A bank allow more below 17. And even above 17, a bit me a bois or more, or mubenya a sunyadie and a disunyadie. And I be very beneficial to them and kokofa or how be a enfamromono. I believe it's a chapter of conversation that they have opened that I feel that we need to ensure that yebenya anu year and also no enkonkofa e kwan bi so no mofra no enkonko hu se da bi yempanyimfo ne pese yen ya breso enema be boa yen ama yen ngomasua akonkan nima be boa yen ama yenya exposure nema eba be boa yen ama yen so no yen dada system mu yebenya ye fa ahodie no mpanyimfo ne nkotietia ye fa ahodie so no e wo se ehwe ho so ne ka wansem.
Okay, now we'll say I would say teachers, parents, and then even in Kuala and Kasa, in who they how to use their phones. If this restriction on phone usage is pushed, but then yanko if I will phone be wa sheda at this mobile handset asian in bansa. It's as if you are now Kuala distracting from if you are no ye fie juma. Kuala is distracting it to one man phone say jet never share there wo ebia YouTube nkola adit a church ade wo YouTube to ship and also say or feel so ni banenyi we di 15 years it's mama nko pet gadget be e man no say ne be obitimi dey aye dey obitimi but then no like our parents actually doing the right thing doing that.
You see, beyond parents, I foresee a generation where the country, our government, parents, ye di youth ne hwamo.
How?
So because say parents AD youth ne hwamo. Now they may patch and say I still have this view, singular opinion that yenyendum pempenso a yebeka say ye mmofra no a ya wo mo yetete wo mo no yetimi de wo mo edum pempenso bi a regardless of supervision obobe ye de etene parents any on mining nyina no yenya sa rehwemu no, and that is why you're having this conversation. So you ask a very practical issue. I believe that say obiba esu ewofie na kola no obe say between 2 or 3 years or 4 years na even onyen do the stage of adolescent no man ni mobile phone itself say onji mobile phone no na bia won fani agro na enyin attention enfem free bia adwuma bia ne maame yeso a maame ni nyambre ema ne ba no a eyebone enye bone diomu ne say I know countries this conversation on my pa Minim countries bebre a woma pa this conversation but you ask yourself that intina Africa do baby ye better say yenhwe han maniem ma papa bia say timi boa ya brabo no ye be sha ase afekwan bi so amana sei ese kudum pempensuo bi a ansa na sha ase se yesu efre ye ho se ye nkonkonyasie ye nkofa adwene ekwan be na ye mfa so anamo be na yetu kopemra ye betimi mu se saade no a ye se esen ye no ye betimi apeni pemasibre. I think that is where the problem is. Now, this issue about mobile phone usage in itself, and then if you say be krukruwa any kutaye, and then the mobile phone, the mobile phone have a multi-purpose usage. Mobile phone ekutaye no, mobile phone, wo akwenya bebre ho no mo, any faso bebre ho no mo a, edema obi biara odi mobile phone edi juma. Beyond making calls, the mobile phone has now become what? Like a learning platform. A learning curve. Now, call a video we say so. And nyoma who do we are that right from you, the personality, right from your environment, right from your workplace, right from when you make association with your friends, the groups you belong to, every detail, every iota of directive BRPBano is on this mobile phone. Yeah. It depends on you, the individual, the kind of niche, any approach our cover my honor. And this mobile phone, a very beneficial to you, and not the device itself. The device is a device. Device na a device. Any pan ebe kohon ama device no. Whether I didn't know me, and answer inshira ebe bre abofre bi no. E ni pan ebe kohon. It's upon instruction ebe ma efidie no. And also no obe so ba bi edi ama. The question is that I still feel that parents are not doing enough in giving their children or their wards the needed tutorials when it comes to the usage of mobile handsets. And that is where the problem is. Now, meaning so many loan companies these online loan companies. Do you know what they do? Now, if you go to the app and you follow the instructions of the app, the app tells you that, can we get your facial recognition? I didn't know about this. They want to establish, say, a yemen another way, and they be a loan, group, and I say a loan company, and I make up a bosia. They want to find out, say, beyond even steps I may follow no regarding their prompts. A yemen and pan, and maybe bosiana. They want to find out. So ask yourself that if our government, our successive governments are very proactive enough, I didn't think that through the communication ministries and through some agencies, relevant stakeholders, womuntimi embark together. Emeka say, munim, yedum pempes wa bia, our youth brackets, womu say, efane the misusage of mobile phones on. I didn't know ye free say a breadwa. I was see yenya restrictions. Yenya very proactive, practical restrictions for the usage of mobile phone. That should be the conversation. And if these organizations, they say loan companies, one more thought it wise, say also some barriers, some restrictions, some protocols to ensure that obiji bosnia na se the timelines no or the duration eswa. Then the palampe some penetrate kwan or you very recalcitrant so betua or metimi penetrate kwan ya. I believe that some people so many see a timid do. Say about Frebi in a mobile phone. DNA na also mobile phone applications bang. And also timi communicate chess about Fran. No man who say, aha, untimi nkoha. Aha, ubetimi ako. Si ama homework. Na pesa we ya researcher. There is a Google. The normal search engine Google no okoswa. Na say 1 + 1 na open. Na say you 2. Na say okos na bema wa. Hormone na say oko. Beyond any application ebetimi edi abofra na ko oseye money there. I think that there should be censorship. And issues about censorship and restrictions should be the call, the beck and call of central government. Abain bemwa enas yebitimi enyawe, because all these that you are talking about and call for reforms. And reforms to be all no more. You can talk about the National Communication Authority one, the Ministry of Communication, then government and Kasa coming in to ensure that these restrictions are embedded in some of the search engines, so that abofra nsaka phone no na say bia the sabo site be so or no willing. There are some of the sites or more advertise it. O share o site ne so no advertisement e was here. Kire o say aha say ukoha we na behunu. Ukoha we na obenya. I believe that with a proper approach and a proper stakeholder engagement, we should be able to at least fine-tune the usage of these phones with our children.
You go into the Western world now, you who countries like China, UK, Australia, New Zealand, all the restrictions about on the usage of phones in schools. If you were Hokana, there's this zip bag. Akwadani do's 2 gates nanwa. Yeah, man is a zip bag no. What would the phone issue ma lock it? There's a device that locks the phone for you. A teacher need to keep it, or you, the child, will keep it yourself. Don't you think if government have these things put in place like that now, it's say schools need to no. Even government or Ghana Education Service give tablets to these students to study. And you say omoko break and I say bibia. Can they do that so that they will have access to these things that you can watch nana?
Well, the almost I say a sharing so they say. The concerns by this some of these CSOs, you know, and then it is not maybe a child could have mobile phone for a certain number of hours and a issue no. We bet me could have mobile phone for like 6 hours, not productively, or the year said you also ultimately year. And the needed benefit in onya ewom. But Frebin so ebetimi aye asoras wording, but Frebuana so yet papa. Very recalcitrant. Nisaso mobile phone in 5 minutes, the other phone no. You the parent, you the teacher, you the guardian, you have no idea. So it is not the hours and the kuta mobile phone no and a issue no. But software application on mobile phone so no enable nipa ne say restrictions bia eni so into okoswa the opebia no between the mobile phone no aye no e honomo and a problem no any consensus no ewo. So it is fine to restrict your kid or your child say mobile phone no within intervals per hour. And I say would you know utimi afa abo game or so your calls back and forth and your problem. But between that hours there should be some restrictions on the mobile phone to direct a kolano kuta mobile phone and say aha ubetimi akoha access restrictions bia any so free access. For instance, yama homework and wabefie. And these days are no kids homework e mom no syllabus no emusem no syllabus no home emusem no soso soso anything no say yama homework na ene dispensation away say we ya wo for so we jana say we na homework ni bi wo no so say so why very deliberate with unim die bia wo and your capacity to do some research now and you are tempted to answer question be akola or grade stage 2 yeah. And 3 or there be say ya ubeti enunti no kwala ni bebre ho no mo amobefia in their quest say bia e man be 5 questions homework on training na no ko school I cause no ya de nti no they will come to you the mother and request for your mobile phone to support them to do their research. E ho na awo fo no omo refi omo ho no or the phone ma kola na afi na ne refi ne ho aya ne se Andy we hen fa Lawrence ewe hen Conrad ewe Japheth ewe hen fa na chese abofra ne hye baabi why ne research awie wosua ade awie enam se mobile phone no restrictions bia any the application usages ninti no na wo mo no esate so mo queue in e bia not a word be say if it be pornography school what here na na abofra ne be experiment word na what here pornographic no porno no e dia na wom. So you go to the search engine and type PORNO with a click. Then they call baby. And they call no one who say, Sir, we ne waha na brofana ka. Nti de bia no abofrano become a friend to the device. Who parents you have no clue. You have no inclination as to the reason why abofrano de bia no or be 16, 17, even only do 18 years, or yes, so fixated with the device. Why are they so free school about they be as homework? Because baby or quite the kumu and I ended until they be as homework. Homework needs to be taken 7 to 8 hours. 8 hours numono. Yes, 8 hours numono. Near more the phone here, dear what the Esuya, near mana Osuan, the tendency for that adolescent child, whether male or female, to practicalize their or the phone nowadays, you know. You have no idea the bit media. And if we are calling for a stakeholder thought or an engagement to ensure that there is some barriers or restrictions about the usage of our mobile phones. It is not mobile phone about finding kutani saying a problem. No, it is a new who mobile phone. Its applications be also any site website be about finding betting a best send kakra and a problem. And I believe that if the conversations assume a certain understanding, then holistically you na betimi aba together and you can say ampa pempenswa ye do no. You mentioned some countries. I know in some of the advanced countries, look, mobile phone kutawa, even we penyini krampo sideboard na bekwa, they may have to seek site or access and send wait me maybe we are one. Are you 18 years? What do you do? Are you a male? Are you a female? What do you do? You maybe say site way now you need to queue in all these informations or details before the site credentials will allow you access to go and do whatever thing that you are doing here. And I believe that is what we need here. You hear BBC to control, to control our youth, to control, positive, negative. No, we need some of these restrictions to curtail their movement, especially when they are serving the internet.
For what it be? The usage of mobile phones no enye bone, but using it at the wrong time and a cause problem no. And then also parents not paying much attention to the sites all in the name of oye homework. Ebia no wati where dibi wakwa search and mobile phones whatever you ask for the obeko Google and I say all the search engine now what type here ede emo beba o click super wako click the wrong place Kasa Fie so o share no na wo like it na wo comment it. Comment no ehun yan pa since say one comment as our viewers and as our subscriber then when you are also sharing and then liking the page too, make sure that you send it to your friends, your family members, your schoolmates, your WhatsApp various groups no obin so enko subscribe to Kasa Fie subscription no ehun so ehun yan pa na yenko mobile phone usage and examination malpractice in the country now. Who say this BEC and I say what's here your children yet it's in some P say your students be so use mobile phone in the examination hall.
So once again it comes to law enforcement, and then protocols. I believe that some of these higher examinations if it's Ghana, for instance, you have the Ministry of Education or the Ghana Education Service coming in to maybe WAEC or WAEC to ensure that there are some established protocols. Being as examination hall, you are not expected to take alongside with you any material be able to compromise the integrity and the outcome of paper now as a candidate. You understand? I didn't say we are bofra now and social the empenyfo ahye no and also odi adwuma. But when him say system bia no when it comes to nema hodo bia system no also timi ehwe manfo ntimi nkwati system na there are equally others more thought in a system no betimi smart system no, and that's where these things comes in.
But then
you understand,
before they go into the examination hall almost search you.
So they search, but we also have informations that told the be one makotria bribe at the man vigilator be at the must supervisor be and it says supervisor no one shop of friends so hall you try bribe at the amano mobile phone it's on one call around now all banning no or share I know I drop him mobile phone the amabo frano, and there are answers on it. You understand? Yes, search your money and to be an obit media call is established. But then no, and that is why with the 2024-2025 examination year, many invigilators are now more a default when it comes to some of these more practices. And you're my friend at the call, but a be more and penny phone be on a call na oma pekwan bi so de man kwala no say on betimi afa so a ebi a omadwi a pobidi egu so and I say yes some of these more practices that me compromise the integrity of these examinations into a hormone so no it is not a device and at fault device no ni nine oni ano won kasa a nipa and be operated this device no a nipa na be command the issue authorization to the device to function in a certain manner. In the copim sa no say you betimi aketeli human involvement too much. Okay, human involvement comes in a way say be a nipa na okwa fidie ne ho no ni trimu po a wo de kwa fidie ne ho ne te say. Se me kofa mobile phone se ka say my mobile phone na me mfanye call isan say me ni bi e wo me phone so a me ni credit e wo me phone so a me je wo phone na me trimu po and it's a mini credit inti and I me je wo mobile phone. If I go contrary, now quickly I delve into your gallery or I operate an area where I am not supposed to operate, then no, the earlier purpose I may no, the medefa hona na babe defeat the earlier purpose. That is what we are talking about here. So I believe that we should first of all tackle individuals, groups, or persons often say examination to supervise and invigilate these students or candidates. I want a problem they want, and not the mobile phone. Nakasa sebe hall. Mobile phone betimi alcohol. Ekuta invigilator and a supervisor. But if ekuta omono, BBA needs to compromise the integrity of the examination now yet tronwa. Want to compromise it, and your problem. That's not a problem. Your problem at all. Yes. Inti we are not saying say mobile phone no in its totality, and yet that's not what we are saying. The can say we need proper protocols, proper directives, counseling, okay, to ensure that mobile phone now you see a mofra no woman di emufen suya de and a woman from fre woman yonko meaning parents be on more the woman says our parents no omuni adaje ofie mami fifie ahomache papa nso if ekwa anaju de suom and obefie. The only means of communication is through the usage of a mobile phone. Sabafra kutagomo abanche na opese odidi bone a odibedi. Regardless of say enya smart, smart. Se mobile phone no se ni internet access na se intimi mfa internet na o adolescent a o be 16 17 years. No se sa mobile phone na ekuta key pass. Enya smart, enya Android, so di boni obedi.
But Nana, how can you use a
so
a young phone? How?
I don't need semi-adolescent. Semi-adolescent, not semi-abofra. Na masa se enya tenka emo baby of my age. Na se enye mihu bibia o, mini smartphone, minim dia also, minyusu bimpoda, minim applications also. I don't even understand what is called a Google. I don't even know what is called a search engine. Me who be that? Ebi anamate, but me who be that? Me operate be that. But se me saka running number. Na me sumo on a number. E bit me communicate the and once we establish that communication, then obviously, if opini bi ani ama ho a, obi be di bone.
Ebusuafo yankomo no ayede ayenika eha Kasa Fie so eha na ye dada sitna enkomo ebremo. We discussed about the usage of mobile phones. Using a mobile phone in Kenya bone, but then as to how you use it, how the approach in which students these days are using mobile phones, as to how a parent will monitor his or her child's usage of mobile phones and on our account, as to how Ghana Education Service would rise up and stand up on their feet to say was here did restrictions about the usage of mobile phones and as to say tablets or even smart watches are a baby school small and so accounting and was here in sorry waka near Gina one year restricted and color usage of mobile phones especially and color on the 16 years and now 18 years in Puno yes yato iPhone 12 amano Oti na opapa efi kromba and as was me ba and then me ko krom ni yesi iPhone 16 and 17 Pro Max abanti G. Na on monitor and now unrestricted akwala on the usage of the phones and now apps bi wo where en was akwala ne beko no ubenwu se na akwada ne eko na de oseye en eba akwada na abrabam eha en ye de yankomo ni nyina ebesi
Now, do you know that interestingly, about 37% of minors are currently under the siege of harmful content on the internet. So it's a very serious, issue.
Even with cyberbullying.
Yeah, very serious.
It's
very serious.
It's a very serious issue. I would say, not only the Ghana Education Service and the National Communication Authority,
but they are you see, almost now the resources.
But
they have. It must start from law enforcement. Parents, you can tell your daughter or your son, don't do and put passwords on your phone. But there will be a time already feel. And when that child get access to the phone, they also the smartphone or the it will take a certain authority somewhere and say this is censorship on the mobile phone. We a parent, say punch this, type this in this code or this password. You can use it. But finding is assume na so names our password in the code na. Say it's obvious that it's not coming from you, but it's coming from a certain control somewhere. Abafrano ultimi and use. Of course, the maximum he can do is to use it for educational purpose and not for leisure or pleasure.
And the usage of mobile phones, there was a pet time near some brand new church or something.
You be profiling, episode 2 of it, about the usage of mobile phones. Yes,
the usage important. Of it. No, me akasa me oba will feel. Oba mommy, I want to do my homework. I can remember. Me demand is on your homework. You have to me diam so your phone. Okay, ta phone. No, TikTok.
Yes. Obeko. And we have so savvy to the extent that they understand. I mentioned something like a generational gap. Wow. This is their era.
Exactly.
This is their era. So they are already exposed even before we bring them to the earth. They are already exposed. They are already exposed. Even before they are already exposed to the IT world.
But how can you be exposed when you are not? Won't marry us to say I'm exposed.
So they are scientific children.
How scientific?
Yeah. So they know everything. It's communication. Yeah. Now what is happening is abafrane da oye mokra no wakasa onsusu ye wodi tinia ma se wasasi so minya car mepe minya luxury mepe minya comfort mepe. I want to live a stress-free life. Abafrano or adapt it. Yes, otini nyina. Mobile phone that was stress so na abafra da yem na we your ba. Abafrano kobe, there is communication so they understand it before. Your thoughts and everything. Unipan or thoughts and everything communication koso when they are developing in us, so they know.
Right. It's all about communication. Pregnant women. Kasa
Fie Podcast. Na obada uyem dey kuta mobile phone. What do you expect?
It's a very serious
communication. Yeah. They be kuta mobile phone. They be on your own phone. You are making a call. Into abafrano right from delivery. Odmade phone a mobile phone. Onim from 3 months, 6 months to 1 year. Odmade phone a mobile phone. So mobile phone ni kuta na se ote ona so a opre se wo so som. Or just no do any money, say we do any mono, or no becon.
No,
becon. Uso any man or three, any muduma knows. Yes.
It's how
I think it will be a subject for another time. We will continue from here.
It's a bad day. Not the usage of mobile phone will be fun using it, and it will be educative using it in our homes. Nina, ebejina mpenyu for the authorities we have, the National Communication Authority. So na waka, the restrictions be atu phones. So and as to say, the gadgets are used to Ghana. Send your bear mano, they will not go astray. Our phones so more so you have a role to play in the usage of mobile phones amongst your children at home. And teachers and at school also have a role to play. If I mama no mo ya papa no mo ye nua no mo ye nana no mo kra ebi kro TV village kra no obedwen say onim the usage of mobile phones, but obeko no obeko village em say bronya kra wo ko village wo se wo ko kwasira wo nana wo village beko no na wo cousin bi omba krom da, but o use smartphone onim baby obeko onim all the sites okwa nani bechiso se Ghana be ya ɛfiri me ɛne wo ɛha ɛyɛ Kasa Fie ɛha ɛne yɛde yɛn nkɔmmɔ no nyina ɛbɛba ɛwieɛ. We'll come back for a part 2 of this conversation because nkɔmmɔ yɛsi yɛbɛdi ne na yɛnwie. Mɛda Nana Dogbe ase sɛ ɔgye bring nya adagye ɛne yɛn bɛtena ase ɛma yɛte ɛnneɛma bi ase on how we can restrict the usage of certain apps on the phone and also says search engines ni bi wɔ hɔ a we can restrict our children from using. Yɛbɛda no ase paa sɛ de bia no onyammerɛ ma yɛ. Mɛda yɛ crewfoɔ nso ase sɛ ɔmo nso nya adagye nya aberɛ ɛnya yɛn ho abotrɛ sɛ ɔmo bie afidie so ma yɛn sɛ yɛn mu ɛmbɛkyekyɛ nkɔmmɔ. Mɛda wo nso ase yɛ subscribers ase sɛ de biara da no munni yɛn hwamɔ mo hwɛ yɛn ɛna mo tie na mo san so comment but keep commenting and keep sharing the link to your family members, to everyone around you. Your friend me Harriet Mampenye Aqua. You can as well call me Lady Penny. That's a net you be saying share makramo. Bye.